Hello, fellow supermoms. Nadine here. I hope you are doing well. This is kind of an impromptu episode about being a special needs supermom. The subject being bad days and what I do on bad days and sometimes bad weeks. And recently, this week is such a bad week. Where on Sunday evening or Monday morning, I can't even remember anymore, we found out that our wonder boy is being threatened by a really disturbed person uh, to such an extent. It happens online, but to such an extent that wonder boy is afraid to leave the house. But is also feeling guilty towards us while he didn't do anything. Feels really crap in regards to his friends because now this game group is falling apart. Bottom line, huge impact. So I've really dropped everything and just focused on Wonder Boy, and he's now coming along. If I'm not here, he goes to the workplace of my daughter because he doesn't want to be alone. But he also doesn't want to leave the dog alone because he's afraid that person will do something. Will do something to the house. Will do something to the dog, and so it's been a really weird week. And bad weeks. This is a new level or other level of bad week. Bad weeks can be, that hospital appointments, you get awful results. Your kid has a flare up. The autism or ADHD is going crazy. It can be all kinds of things that can really throw you off track and kind of make it impossible to do other stuff. You might be able to. But what I learned in, those 18 years that I've been a special needs parent, there was a reason I started my own business. So I could, be the boss of my own time. And, if needed, I could work in the evening. I could shift things around. And nowadays even, I make sure I promise something, not on a specific day, but in a specific week, for instance. So I have some leverage. And the same goes for this week, because Monday, Tuesday was all about Wonder Boy. Today, hospital day with Supergirl. And Wednesday, I was really proud of myself because, there was a lot going on. And in the afternoon, I had a lot of things for the kids. And in the morning, they kind of needed my help, but I let them solve a situation by themselves. Nothing to do with the threat. And I went to my running group because I really needed a break. And I think that's kind of the purpose of what I wanted to say in this podcast episode. When you have a really bad week, a really bad day, where I used to muscle through stuff. So I still did the laundry, I still cooked dinner, I still, made sure I delivered content to clients. I would still do volunteer stuff, whatever, I just muscled through. But especially when something huge is happening, bad lab results of your kid having a flare up. Because your kid is stressed about something around school, the stress is at home. Well, we have this situation now with Wonder Boy. And that asks a lot of you emotionally. And I wanted to say, acknowledge that. Acknowledge the fact, that's totally normal. You're in a bad week, when it has to do with your kids, or yourself. The main focus is not the outside world. Yes, maybe you had a dinner date with a friend that you already postponed twice. Maybe you had that deadline, but in the end, a deadline, a dinner date, it's not important. It's about the mental health, mental state of your kids and yours as well. Especially because as a mom, you have to be there for them. So, and as a mom, of course, when your kids feel like crap or are really scared or whatever, it takes up a whole lot of energy. And it's different than something going on with just me. If it's your kid, it's extra awful. But I nowadays acknowledge it. I shift things around. I will cancel things that I can cancel because I've got some leverage, with the deadlines for my clients. I can play around with that. And basically, just be there for my kids. Do fun stuff. And when it's possible, just do something just for me. For me, that was, I went to the running group on Wednesday morning. And one boy went with his sister to her work. And loved it. So that was great. And it was a great restriction. And, even at home, I don't only, focus my attention on the kids. I do fun stuff with them. Especially distraction is really needed at the moment. So we will focus on, going to the movies. We had a sleepover in the living room on Monday evening. So my boy wouldn't be alone by himself and, his thoughts. Because, if you're by yourself in the evening, it's dark. With an autism and ADHD mind, that's when you go wild. So I made sure I had distractions in place. There was an audiobook he can listen to when he falls asleep. A meditation app, all things like that. And it's still hard, and this will probably take some time. And he even asked for I think I need to talk to someone about this, see a therapist, but because I know this will bother me for a long time. And apparently this very toxic person already was living inside his head for the last 2 or 3 months. And he never said a thing. And we thought it's the end of the school year, stress, final exams for college, stress, getting an internship, stress. So Wonder Boy normally is already more quiet around this time. So it's also a good moment to talk to your kids about, if something is really important going on and you don't know what to do about it. We won't judge. We will tell us, and we can see what you can do and if you need help. And in case of Wonder Boy, he really needed help because he was too afraid to block that person. While all his friends immediately kicked that person off the server, the gaming server, blocked her. And Wonder Boy was the last one to do so because he didn't want to sound mean. While that person threatened him and his family and our house. And he still was too sweet. And he asked me, Mom, can you look at all the online texts? And did I do something wrong? And of course, I'm Mom. But I looked at all the texts and I was like, this is a really sick person. And it's really sweet that you keep trying to talk to that person and let that person talk to you. But this is a really sick person. And you can't help that person. The most important person you have to protect and you have to help is yourself. So we helped him with that. Got distracted here. Distracted here. But we helped our kids. We help them deal with situations. We also give them space because whatever they're going through, no matter the age, they also have to find their own way. And my way to deal with stuff is not necessarily the way my Wonder Boy deals with stuff. So instead of giving him the answers, I also ask what he thinks is the right thing to do, or what would make him feel, yeah, not good, but what feels the best option for him, and then talk about it. We did stuff together, we do fun stuff together, we guide our kids. And then I choose some time for myself where it's possible as well. And in weeks like this, when there's really a lot of shit going on with my kids, and they really need a lot of my help and my guidance, or just a lot of hugs, I'm there. But to be able to be there all the time and not be totally worn at the end of the afternoon, the whole week has been easy meals, because I've got no brain space really to cook and get groceries. So easy meals. So I made it easier for myself on that front. I shifted a few things around. Made sure that, persons that were waiting for stuff on me, let them know, there's something going on. Sorry, you will have to wait a week. It's not going to be the end of the world if I didn't, for my volunteer work, deliver a copy a week later. It's not of the end of the world if, in the summertime, I don't post a podcast every week. I wanted to, but at the moment, and you've probably noticed that, I turn it up a notch and I had a new podcast episode every week. But then with the high school exams and Wonder Boy and college, there was so much going on. I just didn't have the time to do that as well. And instead of beating myself up about it, I'm like, it's okay. The world is not going to end if I don't post every week. I really love podcasting, but I also need the brain space for it. And I had some other topics aligned, but this is so in my head at the moment. And I thought, I'm not the only mom that has bad days or bad weeks, or sometimes even bad months. A couple of years ago with Supergirl, we had awful months with her, having so much pain all the time. And before that improved, it took a long time, and she's still not there. But what I did learn at that time was I needed to do some fun stuff just for me when I can. And that means for me, I'm a huge adult fan of Legos. So this is a Lego tube, but I've got my houses and I've got my little Lego bonsai tree, and I think I'm going to change the seasonal colors for it. And I love quilting, and I can just do that. My mind turned off, listen to an audiobook so I don't hear. So I've got at the moment a lot of podcasts going on and a lot of music, because I don't need that extra noise in my head on the times that I need to relax. And sometimes you need to hear yourself think, to deal with stuff. But sometimes when there's a lot going on, it can be necessary to numb your brain. And for me, that's, with Legos or quilting, but also listening to audiobooks and podcasts. So I don't go in ADHD overthink mode, thinking all the scenarios and all the possibilities that are not helpful at all. And just doing little fun things for myself that I know recharge me. It gives me way more energy to help my son and be there for my son or my daughter as well. Be the more fun mom in that way, the helpful but also fun mom. So if you're going through a rough day or a rough week, or maybe even months, I'm so sorry to hear, but give yourself some slack, because especially when it has to do with our kids, as moms, we just want our kids to be happy. And if that's not happening, we can also, of course, go in that, let that state of mind take over, but it's not going to help our kids. And it will drain us and lead to, special needs burnout. And that's not good for your kid and you. And it's totally normal that on really bad days, you didn't have the energy to cook. You didn't have the energy to do laundry, because there's always laundry. Really, people. There's always laundry. And the same with cooking. You turn mom, and apparently you turn in-house chef as well for the rest of your life. So, little frustration here. So give yourself some slack. On really bad days, the little dust piles on the floor, they can wait another day. It's way more important that you do fun stuff with your kids and fun stuff for you. I might binge watch some Gilmore Girls, because the Gilmore Girls always make me happy. Some reruns. And in the end, your kids will remember those things. Not that they had a really good 5-star meal every evening, or that there was, it was always properly cleaned. Yesterday we had unexpected visitors, besides 3 of my Wonder Boys friends who showed up to, cheer them up, really. So we had 4 nerds playing board games, and it was hilarious. And then we had in-laws, not my in-laws, but my brother-in-law and his family. We're in the neighborhood, and we live far, far away from our family. And they just quickly came by for coffee. So, and my house is a mess at the moment, because I'm decluttering, so I have all these boxes ready, and even without the decluttering, there's always a mess around here. And for a moment I felt guilty, because, what wouldn't they think? You know what? My sister-in-law is probably relieved that, she has a mess sometimes as well. Even when their kids are older, it will be okay. I always see myself, let me then be the person that people will think, I'm not the only one that has a messy house. Or maybe even think, well, at least it's not as bad as with Nadine. Because I could mind, but that's a waste of energy. And I much rather focus that energy at the moment on having a sleepover in a living room with my 16 and 18-year-old. Throw a party for my Wonder Boy with his nerd friends, and they're playing board games all night, and it's totally fine. And I will just host it and enjoy their laughs and giggles and see a smile on the face of Wonder Boy, because I just want them, to be happy. But in order to do so, I need to take a break as well, and you need to take a break as well. So with that, have a bad day. What's the most important to do right now that will help your kids and help you? Do that. Bye.